Hey guys, it's KJ from the Scariest Movie Ever channel on YouTube. And are you ready for the Great Reset? Well, you should be, because whether you're ready or not, it's coming. What you're looking at here are sculptures that originated from ancient Egypt. They're currently being held at the British Museum in London. We see here a human in the center of two Nephilim hybrids, half man, half beast. The symbolism of the beast system always gives it away. In this picture, in these ancient sculptures from Egypt, we find the kneeling, we also find the fist raised. This is evidence of that same spirit that ran ancient Egypt. What we're actually seeing here is that same Antichrist spirit from Egypt manifesting in America. Currently in America, there's a movement where many millions of people are taking a knee. We are also finding movements where there are millions of people in America raising the fist. The narrative that's in place behind these symbolic gestures has nothing to do with the actual spirit that is behind these movements and these symbols. In all nations where communist politicians and insurgents operate, these evil men and women invariably identify themselves by making the sign of the clenched fist. Some biblical authorities say that the clenched fist also represents the rebellious attitude of the people of Babylon towards the Lord God. Dr. Peter Ruckman wrote that you will find this salute being given by all members of the Communist Party in New York in the 1920s and by the Stalinist Abraham Lincoln Brigade during the Civil War in Spain in the 1930s. This salute was adopted by the Black Panthers in America during the 1960s. Liberal Afro-American leaders continue to employ this salute to this day. The clenched fist salute or hand sign is also well known in Freemasonry. It's called the first sign or due guard. In the ritual of the Select Master degree is the holding up or raising of both arms in an L or square position with the fists of both hands typically clenched. Richardson's Monitor of Freemasonry states, the signs of a Select Master are then given as follows. The first is similar to the sign of a Master Mason. The fists are both clenched in allusion to one of the penalties of the obligation, which is to have both hands chopped off to the stumps. And here we find another interesting symbol that connects Freemasonry with ancient Egypt. A detailed study of ancient Egyptian religious literature provides us with tons of useful information on topics of witchcraft and divine powers. Magic, sorceries, and spells also formed a large part of ancient Egyptian society. It's as I always say, the symbols will tell the rest of the story. There is a language of symbols, ancient, it's been with us since the very beginning. And here we're finding those connections between ancient Egypt, which worshipped the sun god, or Lucifer, openly, and the mass amounts of chaos taking place in our modern day society. All of these people are being controlled by the same Antichrist spirit. And the sad part is, the majority of them have no clue. Anyone who has actually studied Freemasonry, or perhaps been a Freemason themselves, understand the connection between ancient Egypt, the mystery schools, the mystery religions, and modern Freemasonry. The connections here can be very diverse, and the study of this connection between Egypt and Freemasonry can get very deep. It's my opinion, in keeping it simple, that the ultimate connection between modern Freemasonry and ancient Egypt is that worship of the sun god. I also believe that many of these Masons and other secret societies on very high levels are doing the devil's work on this earth. Both the ancient Egyptians and modern Freemasonry at higher levels are working to form that one world order system with a one world leader. This ancient spirit of Egypt manifests in a myriad of ways all around the world. It's not just in America. We can find the same symbolism right here. This is from a nuclear security summit that took place in 2014. Obama was there with leaders from all around the world. And as you can see, they're sitting in a circle. And just inside the circle that they're sitting at, you can see modern day hieroglyphics all around. And what do we find right in the center? A massive pyramid on top of a sun disk. This is a direct connection back to that system or that spirit of ancient Egypt, the mystery schools, the mystery religions. Now there's something else I want to show you. What you're looking at is a map of Egypt, and what you see right there in the center is the Nile River. And the Nile River runs the entire length of Egypt. On the east side, it's about 30% of land, and on the west side, about 70%. The Nile River is also called the cradle of civilization. And now we go to a map of America. And what do we find in America? The Mississippi River. And the Mississippi River runs the entire length of America. On the east side, about 30% of the land. On the west, about 70% of the land. It's also interesting to note that the Mississippi River is considered the cradle of American civilization. And here's something else to take note of. Looking back at the map of Egypt, looking back at the Nile River, we find a city on the river called Memphis. And of course, in America, we also have a city named Memphis that sits on the Mississippi River. And it just so happens to have a massive pyramid in the city as well. It also has a statue of Ramses the Great in front of the pyramid. Even taking a look at American currency, we notice the two triangles, the pyramid and the capstone above it. The top capstone of the pyramid is not in place, and that's for a reason. It's denoting an unfinished situation. The capstone is detached from the bottom portion. And interestingly, the Great Pyramid of Egypt was never finished. So this unfinished situation was planned to remain in effect until the old world order was destroyed and replaced with a new world order. In Genesis, God stopped the tower and city of Babel from being built. Satan wants the work to continue, which will usher in the reign of the man of sin and world dictatorship. Here's another way that we find that same spirit manifesting in our modern world. Just a few years ago, there were some museums that were putting on a display called King Tut and the Golden Age of the Pharaohs. And for whatever reason, they chose to take a 26-foot-tall statue of Anubis, the god of the dead, and put him on his own world tour. And even more interesting, this same statue of the god of judgment. Anubis was a god of judgment. This same 26-foot-tall statue ended up settling at the Denver International Airport. The Denver International Airport is one of the most significant areas in the world when it comes to the occult being hidden in plain sight. There are also obvious Freemason connections to the Denver International Airport, and here we find that connection back to ancient Egypt, the mystery schools, the mystery religions. The god of death went on a world tour just a few years ago as a symbol of what's to come. For many years on my channel here, I've been showing people how this beast system is manifesting and growing. And the spirit behind that beast system, the beast itself, comes to us in many forms. Here's something else interesting I wanted to point out. I don't know if you had a chance to read this. Archbishop Vigano's powerful letter to President Trump. Eternal struggle between good and evil playing out right now. This is a paragraph from that letter, but there's something in this I really want to point out near the end. It says, "We will also discover that the riots in these days were provoked by those who, seeing that the virus is inevitably fading and that the social alarm of the pandemic is waning, necessarily have had to provoke civil disturbances, because they would be followed by repression which, although legitimate, could be condemned as an unjustified aggression against the population. The same thing is also happening in Europe, in perfect synchrony. It is quite clear that the use of street protests is instrumental to the purposes of those who would like to see someone elected in the upcoming presidential elections who embodies the goals of the deep state and who expresses those goals faithfully and with conviction. It will not be surprising if, in a few months, we learn once again that hidden behind these acts of vandalism and violence, there are those who hope to profit from the dissolution of the social order so as to build a world without freedom." And here's the really important part: salva et coagula, as the Masonic adage teaches. It turns out that when the Archbishop wrote that phrase, he was referring to the Baphomet. the Baphomet being one of the most well-known and recognized symbols of the beast. The meaning is component elements being synthesized into a new substance and of the heavenly, thereby manifesting into the earthly. So this encompasses as above, so below. But it's also interesting to point out that Baphomet itself is a transgender. So in a sense, these are the elements being synthesized into something new. It's also interesting to note that J.K. Rowling, the author of the Harry Potter series, has the exact same phrase tattooed on her wrist. We are dealing with an ancient spirit. We are also dealing with millions of people that are a part of that satanic hive mind. This Antichrist spirit, this spirit of the beast, it comes to us in many forms, and it goes by many names. Ultimately, it's the same presence. This is an enemy of humanity that has come to steal, kill, and destroy. And right now, at this point in our life, in our history, this spirit is actively and aggressively leading humanity into captivity, just as it's done so many times before. On that note, I want to show you some examples, recent examples, of how the church is under attack. And I'm not just saying the buildings, it goes beyond the buildings and the statues. Everything happening right now is about us, those that love God, those that love Christ. This is from July 11th, 2020. 3 churches burned in just over 24 hours. But you wouldn't know it if you watch national news. They're all on the same script. 2 days ago, investigation continues into arson at 100-year-old rural Missouri church. 5 days ago, churches report Chicago officials are threatening to bulldoze their facilities for not complying with C-19 mandates. 3 days ago, Virgin Mary statue set on fire outside Boston Church. 3 days ago, college Democrats, Satanists, and witches team up to shut down Young Conservatives of Texas chapter. The Baphomet is in the church. Here's a short clip for you to check out. This took place just a few days ago itself in Toronto.
I want you to hear me when I tell you that I'm not just supposed to be a pastor. I'm supposed to be a woman. Hi, friends. Hi, family. My name is Junia. You can call me June. I'm a transgender woman, and my pronouns are she and her.
I have one more clip I want to share with you here at the very end, and as far as I'm concerned, it's the most important clip. There's a 95% chance you've never seen this on the news, because the news is completely locked down, and this doesn't fit their narrative. But what you're about to see is a glimpse. It is a taste of what's to come for the church, not just in America, but around the world. And not just the buildings or statues, but Christians themselves. We can't say it's coming or it's on the way, it's already here. The footage you're about to see just took place a week ago. So I'll leave you with this clip, and I thank you as always for watching my video. Please understand that everything that's happening in the world right now, it's all about us. It's about people that love God, people that love Christ. We are the ultimate enemy of this beast system. So make sure you're prepared out there in every way possible. And until next time, take care of yourselves out there.
Oh yeah, come on, yeah. Move over to the family here.
Look at what they're doing. Are you bringing a baby into a church that's wrestling off? You are pissing your This is no house of God.
Good morning.
You continue to teach each other. I'm calling DPS on you. Save those kids. 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 those kids. Save those kids. Save those kids.
We care about them babies more than you do, and they're going inside your church.
You're not supposed to block the church entrance.
Hey, you have the babies.
You can step your left here right now. Give me that. Do you not welcome everyone?
Where's the hand we're supposed to touch?
You're blocking the
Right?
church entrance.
We gotta touch your hand to get inside.
Well, isn't that your practice what you preach?
Public entrance.
Save those babies!
I'm sorry.
You don't give a fuck about black. You mad good.
Officer.
Officer. He said officer.
Fuck him! Fuck him!
Oh, it was for the other dude. It was for the other dude. Okay.
Yo. Chill out, bro. What's going on?
Ever grab me like that again?
Right. When you was throwing them punches earlier, you was not there. He do punches. Yes.
He was
He was out here throwing punches. Now
How's he not arrested? If we got witnesses, how is he not arrested?
Because they're not going to. They got cops that go here.
But if I stop him right now, I'm going to jail. I ain't gonna hold you. You gonna come home. You go home. Bail reform says you don't go to jail. Bail reform, you get a ticket. Nah, I really don't.
cut the cord.
Dirty. Your soul's dirty. Dirty.
Stop touching. Stop touching. These are our I do not care. I don't care. This is my sidewalk. This is my sidewalk. This is my sidewalk. This is my sidewalk. Yes, my taxpayer money paid. I don't care. I don't pay taxes. What tax? What tax? Your church. Do you pay? You don't pay no taxes.
I don't have to pay taxes.
Who's streets? Who's streets? Our streets. 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 Our streets. Our streets. Our
Get back! Get back! Everyone, get back! Get back! Everyone, get back!